join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Austriaco? Here. Vessler? Here. Collins?
Here.
Coyle? Lee?
Here.
Sullivan? Owen?
Here. We're going to start with 207's Best for Academic Excellence. And we will, I'm not sure what the category, it's Academic Excellence, thank you. We'll go ahead and start with Maine East.
All right. Hi, everybody. I am very pleased to introduce Nicole Kaspirik. Nicole. There you go. So Nicole is obviously our 207's Best for Academic Achievement. And other than all of the glowing accolades that I got from the multiple staff members that came together and nominated her, when I took a look at her transcript, it struck me that absolutely everything she has taken, chock full schedule for 4 years, are all A's and A pluses as we go down. She's taken a very heavy AP load this year with AP English and Literature, AP U.S. Comparative Government Politics, AP Calc, AP Bio, AP Spanish Language. She's also a member of the Gifted Lyceum program, and with all of that has been an accomplished member of the school orchestra program for the last 4 years, which is no small commitment in and of itself on top of everything else she's doing. Some themes came through as I had a chance to visit with a number of staff members, and basically she is has a very, very calm demeanor, kind of a chill individual, so she stays calm, cool, and collected. Has very, very focused work habits in what she does, and really has great strengths in collaborating with other students, with their colleagues, anybody else, in a way that does not put them at any sort of uncomfortable stance. People are very, very comfortable working with her. She seems to bring the best in others out. Susie Caliendo is one of our counselors, worked with Nicole, and she sort of explained that as she's progressed through school, obviously she has taken a pretty heavy academic load, and she's increasingly been willing to take some risks academically. So as a sophomore, she had an opportunity to go study Spanish immersion. So she went to Madrid, and I think from what I understand, sort of came back a changed person in terms of her confidence, what she did that time. So Susie said she accepted their offer to go through Spanish immersion and came back to school that next fall excited to share personal growth and experiences. She began junior year, she arrived with a new passion for immersive experiential learning. She enthusiastically worked with her Polish school to plan an immersion trip to Poland over Thanksgiving holiday. Also was very excited and did quite a lot in the service trip to, I believe, Detroit with the Gifted Lyceum program as she went through. Susie says she's an engaged learner in all areas of her life. She's never settled for mediocrity or the path of least resistance. She continually challenges herself with rigorous curriculum, takes every opportunity to explore new ground. Bright, articulated, and motivated young adult. Judy Tyler, who is program director for our Gifted Lyceum program and is also AP Bio teacher this year, sort of shared a couple of things in terms of AP Bio. Again, Judy said just absolutely one of those students who helps other people be more successful in the class, and one of many reasons that she really, really loves having Nicole in that class. She relayed an instance when they were in a collaborative group, and one of the students who has actually had some chronic health issues, has been out of school quite a bit, wasn't able to be there. Nicole engaged student in a G-chat, sort of got that student hooked in virtually for that entire time. Judy explained how she really took great pains to really make sure that that student's voice was heard in the conversation, in the work that went through. So again, sort of really, really aware in that way. She also commented on a pretty major summative test that had occurred sometime later in the first semester. So there have been numerous feedbacks, but the summative was an accumulation of about 6 weeks of work. She did extremely well on the test, probably the strongest performance any place. and yet still took the time to come and work with Judy to go through the makeups because she had some items that she just wanted to sort of fix up and to learn more about it. I think Judy said she wanted to work on the test corrections to fix up her thinking. So again, she said she has a real desire to understand the concepts in biology and is devoted to learning. Last year she had AP Language, this year AP Lit and English. Both of her English teachers, Mr. Lundberg last year, Mr. Hessert this year, basically were right consistent in terms of their assessment of her work. Mr. Hessert said, Nicole embodies the idea that excellence in her everyday practice translates into excellence in the big performance. Everything she does to perfection. Her answers to questions on everyday homework are as sophisticated and careful as her essay writing. Her writing is very thoughtful as well. Nicole never rushes through an assignment just to get it done, but rather each piece of writing is a thoughtful reflection on the question at hand. She's a sensitive reader who's alive to nuance and language, and always count on her for more mature insights into any complex text. Tomas Sentado had her last year in Spanish, and Nicole is, again, I think a real linguist, whether we're talking about the English language, Spanish language, or also fluent in Polish. Tomas said she's one of the most skilled linguists that I've had the pleasure to teach at Maine East. He's been there for quite a while. She intuitively understands the nuances of the language, and her pronunciation understanding only need time abroad to fully develop into a native speaker level. On top of that, Nicole is hardworking, creative, and an excellent person. And Elena Vasta, one of our math teachers, echoed the same things in terms of her work ethic, the things she does in class. But Elena sort of capped her statement off, just said, she's the type of student that only comes along once in a while, and she truly pushes me to be a better teacher. It's been a true pleasure to have her as a student this year. So I think we think Nicole is on the cusp of great things. By all accounts, she's a reflective goal setter, uses her intuition to self-evaluate, create meaningful change in her own life. According to her teachers, Nicole's drive to be her best self has been a cornerstone of her personality over the past year, and it seems like she's just getting started. So extremely proud of you, Nicole. Wishing you all the best, and congratulations. Who's here with you tonight?
So my parents are here, my mom Ella and my dad Robert, and also my sister Olivia, she's in 7th grade.
Very
She's
good.
in Gemini right now.
And what are your plans next year?
And so currently I got accepted into 3 colleges, which are Loyola, Marquette, and University of Indianapolis, but I'm still waiting on Northwestern, Vanderbilt, and University of Wisconsin, and then I'm going to make my decision. And as for what I want to study, currently I'm undecided, but I'm looking towards something in the business field, maybe international business, because of my passion for languages. So
Very
yeah, I
good.
think that'd be nice.
Yeah.
Good. Congrats. And good luck.
Okay, we'll move on to Maine West.
Thanks. Maine West is pleased to recognize Pavani Chairan as 207's best in the area of academic achievement, and you can come right up here and join us. Thank you. Pavani is thoughtful and well-spoken. She appears quiet, but she's a force of nature when it comes to achieving her goals and lifting others around her. That's a beautiful tribute to you, Pavani, from Ms. Jane Wisdom, your NHS sponsor. Pavani excels not just in academics, but extracurriculars and community service as well, a full trifecta. With a grade point average of 4.9, Pavani clearly achieves at the highest academic levels, and she's taken the most demanding curriculum at Maine West. She's currently enrolled in 5 AP classes and is in the symphonic orchestra. She's a National Merit Commended Scholar, president of the National Honor Society, member of the National Spanish Honor Society, National Science Honor Society, and National English Honor Society. She manages to strike a perfect balance between service, leadership, and academic success. What struck me most about Pavani also involves balance and maturity. She cultivates an inner command of herself. She knows who she is and what she stands for, but yet has that outer display of excellence in everything she does. She's dedicated to her activities as well as her academics. Mr. Allworth notes that Pavani has participated in no less than 11 activities at Maine West. These include math team, Indian Student Association, and the tennis team, where she has been a varsity athlete for 3 years. Coach Marin appreciated the pleasure of being Pavani's tennis coach and Spanish teacher for 3 years. He describes Pavani's impact as fueled by kindness and respect. She's not that rah-rah vocal leader, he explains, but one who is followed for the example she displays and the way she treats others. The Voice for the Nameless and Warrior Pride are 2 organizations that have made a great impact at Maine West, and Pavani has been a significant contributor to both organizations as a change agent, innovator, and leader. She is also heavily involved in the cultural dance group and serves as the academics editor of the yearbook, where she's been on since her sophomore year as well. It is Pavani's involvement in the community, however, that really sets her apart from many. She's dedicated many hours volunteering with MyCap, and her participation led to several town hall presentations and awareness-raising campaigns. In her spare time, she's tirelessly working toward helping and learning about others who are less fortunate, particularly our homeless population. Mr. Ebrahimi, her counselor, notes, Pavani is a unique lady. She's kind, genuine, and determined to succeed beyond high school as an astrophysicist. She is mature beyond her years and cares deeply about others in her community. She's well-liked and respected by her peers, and teachers enjoy having her in class because she elevates the experience of everyone in the room. This is evidenced by what Ms. Littlefield Lanham, her AP Euro teacher, says about Pavani as well. Pavani was a top scholar in my very first AP Euro history class, which happened to also be her first AP class. Pavani possesses habits of mind which one finds only in the most brilliant scientists and historians. To paraphrase one of our mutually favorite philosophers, Carl Sagan, Pavani demonstrates a marriage of skepticism and wonder. Wonder at the world around her, a fascination with human behavior and decision-making, all balanced by a healthy skepticism of the status quo, eagerly questioning in order to find reason and motivation beneath the surface of things. Her stunning intellect is complemented by a huge heart. Pavani is kind, generous, thoughtful, considerate, and so service-minded. She is the kind of scholar and person whose brilliance will shine a light on all those fortunate to work with her. I believe it was Aristotle who said, "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence is not an art, but a habit, and you have made excellence a habit in everything you do in your life. There's no doubt you'll be successful in whatever you do. Your intellectual capacity for learning, your openness to multiple perspectives, your lead by example character, your high level of achievement of everything, and lastly, but most importantly, your compassion for those less fortunate. They make you just a superb candidate for this honor. I'm so proud to present you here today." To introduce who you have here to support you today and where you'd like to go to school as well.
All right, so over there's my mom and my dad here to represent me tonight. So far, I haven't decided yet where I want to go, but I've gone to the University of Iowa and University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign. I'm still waiting on Princeton, Yale, Berkeley, and Cornell, and I want to pursue astrophysics as my major. Oh, and Harvard, yes.
Congratulations, Bonnie. Thank you for all your hard work.
Okay, next up, Maine South.
All right. We are pleased to recognize George Dalianis for Maine South's 207's Best for February. So when people ask me what the principal position is like, what I usually start off with saying, especially for all the Maine Township schools, is that you would not believe the type of emails that I get from students. They look like they're written from legal counsel, law firm. And the very first student email that I ever got was from George. And it was probably about 4 or 5 days into the summer, middle of July, and I had just gotten back from a long trip, just started, still putting my office together, and this email pops open and says, "I'd really like to meet with you, Dr. Collins. I've got some ideas for how to make the school better and for how to take the Principals Advisory Council in some directions that I think would be really beneficial. And I said, this is great. But it was much more eloquently worded than that even. I felt like I was being deposed. So I said, let's meet. I'll have my attorneys present. We sat down in the office, and I still remember, George, I still remember you laying your vision out for what the school could be. And I think that's the best way to probably start this off, because from that moment on, it has just been a really great relationship, and certainly one that I have personally held dear. George's GPA and all of his academic accolades are absolutely amazing. He has literally taken the hardest coursework he possibly could have at Maine South, AP, everything, especially for math all the way through our multivariable calculus program. He's also a member of our state champion C team, Unit 1, I believe. He's in National Honor Society. He's a founding member of the Junior State of America, which I'll get to in a moment because it's has some legal ramifications that have been pretty spectacular. And he's obviously on the Principals Advisory Council, and definitely, I think, one of the best advisors I have when we talk about how to make changes in the school. So just briefly take you through some of the amazing comments from some of George's teachers. George's AP Calculus BC teacher, Ms. Beth Ann Ball, who's here this evening, says, "This is my 17th year teaching high school mathematics after a career as a chemical engineer in the plastics industry. George is the most patient, unflappable, broad-minded student I have met. George is an intellectual and a scholar who will seek out opportunities and use them to make the world a better place. George is truly one of the top I've ever encountered in my career. What makes George stand out from other intelligent, intellectual, high-achieving high school seniors is his maturity, his patience, and his genuine concern for others. George is humble. He has high expectations for himself and others, but is patient. George understands that every person's thoughts and opinions matter. He is respectful, disciplined, and conscientious." And George's counselor, Mr. Bob Tortorelli, wrote a very long email, so I had to kind of cut this down because, George, your accomplishments are numerous. To say that George DeAlianis has high standards for himself would be the understatement of the year. He doesn't just enjoy getting to the finish line or being the best, but he truly loves the journey no matter how challenging and grueling the road may be. George is one of the brightest, most talented, and most driven individuals that I've had the pleasure to work with, not only among this year's senior class, but as compared to the last several classes. In spite of all his accomplishments, George has remained humble and appreciative. He takes nothing for granted. His talents and his personal skills are impressive. George brings the same level of commitment, interest, and intensity to the many extracurricular activities that he partakes in. He is a leader among leaders as a member of the Principals Advisory Council. George has been instrumental in helping our new principal make many positive changes to the climate of our school. George also is responsible for founding the Junior State of America chapter of our school. He did the research and obtained approval from our administration as well as the national organization to start and organize this national, student-led, nonpartisan political awareness debate club. He has also recruited over 20 members to participate in healthy debates. George and fellow GSA members helped plan an Illinois Attorney General candidate forum. This was last year during the election cycle, so all of the candidates actually came over to Maine South and talked for about 15 minutes.
Each candidate had about 15 minutes
Yeah.
to present their platform.
And answered questions from the gallery about ways that they would be the best candidate for the Illinois Attorney General. And I thought that was really amazing considering George is the one who organized all of that. So we had people from all over the suburbs in the city of Chicago showing up for that. And then another thing I wanted to say about George is on top of all of his accolades, he's also an accomplished concert pianist. He is also a National Young Arts winner. You like Liszt? Liszt and Chopin? Yeah. And has performed recitals all the way up to Symphony Center downtown. So he's really, really incredible. Finally, George's AP English and Literature teacher, Mrs. Amy Krakowski, says, "What impresses me most about George is his consistency and his versatility. George is unflappable. No matter what the circumstance, he is always prepared at the highest level for class. I love how he makes this seem so natural. I have greatly enjoyed reading and listening to George's writing this year. When he speaks, his peers listen because they know what a class act he is. I particularly enjoyed the playful use of language he employed in a piece describing his papau and yayay.
Yaya Papu.
Thank you. I am also lucky to have him in class, and even though this year will be winding up soon, I'm looking forward to the excellence he will display in the coming months. George, I can definitely say, being the first student that I ever met at Maine South, you have really made that school a great place with all of your ideas and your insights and the way that you deliver feedback to all of us lucky adults. So you are amazing. So thank you for all you do. You want to tell us who's here this evening?
I'm here with my mom, my dad, my yai papu, my grandparents, and then my godmother, Kathy Pappas, came in a little bit.
So, and what are you doing next year?
I've been accepted to Yale University, and I also have a few other colleges out there. And in college, I do hope to study either history or political science, and hopefully attend law school.
Excellent. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, this is an opportunity for our commended students and their parents to go with their principals and have their photo taken. It's also your opportunity to leave the meeting if you'd like to do so. Congratulations.
Almost 8 plus personality.
Oh, I didn't know
This until now. Isn't that funny? That's hilarious.
Thanks for coming, Mr. Ball. Nice to see you. Yeah,
Is this somebody's friend?
I didn't know. I can't believe it. How are you? Good.
How are you, Katie? Good to see you.
I'm going to give you a big hug, Bethany. I can't believe you're his dog. Oh, boy. Your kids are doing. Yeah, how about your kids? What are they doing? What are they?
Yeah, great, you're live now.
I can't believe it. It's not until we said my godmother, Kathy Peck. Which, of course, she still can't be Carlos to me, but you know, it's 30 years late.
Okay, public comments. I have one card. Julia Hayden.
I'm just relocating a little bit.
Okay, just a reminder that at this point it's a 3-minute limit we ask you to follow.
That's way more than I need.
Okay.
I want to take an opportunity to publicly recognize Dr. Terry Collins. I had the privilege and opportunity to attend a session at Maine South High School not that long ago that for the intention of informing the parents and the community about the dangers of vaping and to educate the parents quite a bit. And she worked very, very well with the deans of Maine South High School, and also the assistant principal was there. Dr. Collins was also there. And Terry mentioned that she recently celebrated her 5-year anniversary with the chamber for a job that she had been told she probably wouldn't stay around for a couple of months. And so she's been doing this amazing, amazing work for 5 years. Our district is so incredibly lucky to have her. She's so unbelievably knowledgeable and passionate about what she does. I truly, truly am trying to do what I can to get more people to be able to experience her knowledge and learn from her, because it really is so very important what you're doing, Terry. And I personally thank you. I forgot to mention I'm speaking in my capacity as the MTA president. The MTA thanks you, and that's, I didn't make 3 minutes yet, right? I'm done? Terry, thank you so very, very much.
Okay, you get to follow that. Update from superintendent.
Okay, so our Hawkettes last week in the polar vortex were supposed to fly out on Thursday, had to catch a flight on Wednesday because the Thursday flight got canceled, but they got on the plane. It was a little bit uncertain whether they would, and they went to the national championships, and they won the national championships. So I want to just a little quick shout out to the Hawkettes, and we'll hopefully have them here soon to bring in their hardware and Craig there around. We have a couple of former Hawkette mothers at the table with us who appreciate that. Probably they knew before anybody else did. I'm sure that happened. But it's a continuation of a really, really nice tradition in the district of Maine South in particular. Second, Judy Tyler, who was mentioned tonight and is just if we could clone, just as a human being, Judy Tyler, what a great world we have, has been nominated for Golden Apple Award. And we're very, very proud of her. Judy is one of our original instructional coaches. And it was Judy's work actually at Maine East, along with Tim Papa George, where they really began trialing the individual instructional coaching plans that has led us here where we are. So many great things that she's done with the Gifted Lyceum program at Maine East High School. We have so many of our students who come from backgrounds that wouldn't have traditionally gone to some of the most selective colleges in America. And she's just a special human being. And so we hope that here in a not too distant future, we can have her here, hopefully as a Golden Apple Award winner. And then finally, and the board knows this, and we've put a little bit of information out, but we have, as a district, been recently invited, actually after the submissions had closed, we've been invited to Washington, D.C. this summer to present at the Model Schools Conference for districts who are doing compelling work in districts where the demographics are that students are getting more low-income students and also diverse students, and yet we're able to improve performance. That is a tribute to all of the educators that are in this room, to Julia and the work she's done, to educators like Judy Tyler, to our math leadership team that's here, to Beth Ann, who I used to, watch leaving the building at 5 or 6 or whenever, when she was a younger teacher, a newer teacher at Maine South High School. And so it's a tribute to everything that happens in this district. Sorry about that. Newer teacher, how's that? Wrong term. You know what I meant.
But she still leaves at 7, so.
I know. Still doing that. I just happen to have an office close enough to witness it then, so. But just, it's a tribute to everything that happens in this incredible district. And it's meaningful, it matters. What we do really, really matters, and it's just a really great recognition. You see these are the kids that we recognize tonight. These are like, every year this is the best of the best. But we have so many kids who do so many amazing things. And what I'm proudest of everything is that there is a true learning culture here that is about taking any student that walks in our door, meeting them where they're at, and finding a path to accelerate and amplify the things that they do. And that's really indicative of who we are and what we're doing. And so I'm incredibly proud of everybody that's here tonight and frankly throughout the district for all of the awards. So that's all I have. I did the best I could. I couldn't top that. And I'm very proud of Terry too, because Julia's right.
Okay. Any updates from board members? No? Okay. Finance committee update.
Finance committee met January 16th. The meeting began at 5 p.m. and was attended by members of Rita Sullivan. We discussed 4 items. The first one was the second quarter budget update, since we just finished the second quarter of the year. The finances are doing very well. We're improving the deficit budget position from the 7.3 million to a 5 million. So therefore reducing the proposed deficit that we were spending. Key item that was discussed is that there is a new TIF statute which charges tuition to new property within the TIF. So that 7 students who have moved into new TIF areas of Park Ridge are now going to be paying tuition for the Maine Township schools, which is good. Next item was property tax. The PTAB discussing the fact that the district tracks revenue funds over $5,000, refunds over $5,000. We budgeted for $2.7 million this year, but we've issued $2.1 million in refunds so far for the year. The third item was the biometric screening, which goes with our health plan. It's a closed contract that we voted on tonight with Empower Health Services, which was the lowest, most responsive bidder that offers a more extensive blood panel. This is one of the best ways that the district helps to prevent medical problems among the members of our insured employees. And the final item was the financial advisor RFP. Well, the request for the RFP was sent to 8 companies, and 2 bid. They didn't bid on the same platform, so therefore we're going to be going back out on this. And that's it. The meeting was adjourned at 5:26.
Thank you. Buildings and grounds, Terry?
Yes, Buildings and Grounds met on January 16th, and meeting was called to order at 5:28. Collins, Bessler, and Lee were present as members of the Buildings and Grounds Committee. There were no public comments. Our first item of business was a construction management contract where Assistant Superintendent for Business Mary Clue noted the RFP was released on January 16th, sent to 12 companies with proposals due back on February 9th. And a pre-proposal meeting was held on January 18th. The construction management contract is scheduled to go at the March meeting. Our next item of business were the architect fees. Information on White's fee structure was sent to the board in Friday's notes. White's fees, which is the architecture company, are favorable compared to the others, and the forensic attorneys are working on an addendum to the fee structure. Next item of business was the Maine East Chilled Water Piping Modification Project in Phase 2. Dave Ulm, who's the Director of Facilities, updated the committee on chilled water piping project. Last year, the chiller failed earlier than expected, and it required an emergency repair. And Phase 2 is going to actually provide 2 small hot water boilers to replace the large steam heat boiler, and that will actually generate a substantial savings. There were 18 contractors attended a pre-bid meeting. 10 bids were received on January 3rd, and we wound up awarding the bid to Independent Mechanical Industries in the amount of $334,800. The next order of business was the 2019 interior renovations at Maine East, and this was due to brick expansion surrounding the CTE wing. Exterior doors at Maine East. Door framing is failing and needs replacement. In addition, the scope of the project includes removal of a divider wall, and it will be converted to a multi-purpose room. 7 bids were received, and the bid was awarded to Stuckey Construction in the amount of $98,189. Next item of business was the 2019 roof replacement at Maine South and Maine West, and this adds item of the district facility master facility plan. The A-wing roof at Maine South and the spectator gym roof at Maine West are due for replacement. Bids were released on December 5th, and 15 contractors attended a pre-bid meeting on December 15th. 9 bids were received, and the administration recommended awarding the Maine South roof bid to Knickerbocker Roofing and Paving in the amount of $810,000, and the Maine West roof bid to L. Marshall Incorporated in the amount of $445,500. And both companies have worked for District 207 in the past. Next item of business was the 2019 track renovations for Maine South and Maine West. Maine West outdoor running track has experienced significant water damage over the last 3 years and needs replacement, including the sub-base. The Maine South track surface is showing considerable wear, and it needs resurfacing. Bids were released for both projects. 7 contractors attended a pre-bid with 2 responses. The bids were scoped, and the bids were awarded to Abbey Paving in the amount of $505,915 for replacement of the Maine West track and resurfacing of the Maine South track. And then next item of business was that we had a discussion on additional bids, and these were for bids are opening on January 28th for the following 2019 projects: gutter replacements at Maine East, skylight repair at Frost Academy, and concrete repair work at Maine East and Maine South. The gutter replacement will be broken into 2 phases at Maine East, and the skylight repair is needed at Frost Academy because of leaks, and the sidewalk and stairs at Maine South will be replaced due to buckling and sinking, and the concrete dumpster pad is broken at East and will be replaced with heavy-duty depth concrete. A set of stairs on the west side of the school will also be replaced. And Member Jin Lee inquired about holding an educational workshop on awarding contracts to minority and small businesses. The meeting was adjourned at 6:19 p.m.
Thank you, Terry. Education Committee update. Laura?
All right, so the Education Committee met on January 16. Committee members present were Austriaco and Bessler. We started the meeting at 6:20 in the evening. There was really one item that was mainly discussed, and it was regarding student fees. Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Innovation, Mr. Sean Messmer, gave a brief history of the student fee schedule structure. In 2013, District 207 adopted the 101 initiative, migrating away from print textbooks to digital. At that time, students purchased their Chromebook with their textbooks, and average fees for a single student over a 4-year period was $1,928.40. Starting in the 2016-2017 school year, students paid an annual flat fee of $355 with a cost over 4 years of $1,420. Since then, the technology budget has been subsidizing the cost of the tablets, and the cost needs to be rectified. There's been no increase in student fees over the past 3 years, and administration is asking to increase student fees over the next 3 years, beginning with an increase to $395 for the 2019-2020 school year, which covers the tablet, supplies, and supplemental resources that the students need. The proposed increase of 11% remains 18% lower than the average student fees in 2013-2014. We've had discussion about the student fees increase, but no action will be taken at today's meeting, so it will be further discussed. And the meeting ended at 6:57 p.m. That's it.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to monthly status of finances. Mary?
In your board packet is the December financial statement. As stated earlier, December also marks the end of the second quarter, so when we have a quarter end, we go into a little bit more detail on not only how we're performing now, but where we're projected to perform. So at the end of the second quarter, we're projecting that we are going to improve our deficit from 7.3 million to about 5 million. On the revenue side, revenue is just coming in slower, but we anticipate revenue being at budget. It's the expenditure side that we saw a variance. One of the largest items was because our medical claims have been good, both the employees and the board were able to enjoy a premium holiday in December where no one paid for medical premiums for the month of December. That saved the district about $1 million. We also, at this point, do not project spending of contingencies. However, I will tell you this weather is not good for facilities, so I wouldn't be surprised if there are some things that we need to do coming out of it. But we anticipate not spending about $570,000 in our contingencies. In the operation and maintenance fund, because of turnover and from savings from overtime, we anticipate saving about $180,000. And then out of district special ed placement, we anticipate savings about $180,000. And that's just a combination of students who are moving in and moving out and the various placements that they need. So the second quarter has a very detailed report of about 40-some pages for you to peruse to. The next item for your information is our summary of our property tax appeals board. The district has been tracking multiple years on how much revenue we're preserving by intervening. And when we intervene on the property tax appeals board cases, we are seeing about a 75% savings in terms of the revenue that is preserved from what the taxpayer is originally asking for. It looks like refund requests are going down. That's not true. What happens is you have a choice in Cook County. You can go to the Property Tax Appeals Board or the Circuit Court. So Circuit Court cases are on the rise. Property Tax Appeals Board cases are slowing down, which is why we're now starting to track all of our refunds greater than $5,000 and starting to look at ways to intervene in the Circuit Court cases so that we can hopefully see that same success in the Circuit Court that we did in PTAP. And the final item under the finances is the investment volatility report. On a quarterly basis, we provide the board with At the end of the year, the auditors are required to do a market to value adjustment. It is a paper gain or loss as our investments are held to maturity. So we like to quarterly show the board, if this was our year end, what would that adjustment look like? So if our year ended at the end of December, we would have to record a market loss of about $616,000. That's primarily because we have some investments that are longer term in terms of our portfolio, and interest rates have gone up slightly, which caused then the market to value to be a negative adjustment. I will entertain any questions that anybody has on the financial reports.